Yes, like roughly year in the for right now, for that don't do that right now, not at all want to do up thanks to that taking more damage. So that it's like it's enough available to think that way like I'm looking for that want itself. So taking the decision to make the ball again or like the ball towards that race all by himself without anyone getting holding like the ball to the underline and the exactly the ball to again about different about the most letting throw the ball while long is about to take the like about to throw the ball like about to bring the ball like ball to that more by himself like on throwing like the ball into that higher single that they are and that before that the ball will be landing dropping down Jack and one charging up all of his black power, top of his powers, and basically as like the ball would be dropping and reaching that long height like at that point under the playing that one you it's like have to everything into like ultimate charm of that on like the board and sending straight towards like races right just like the scenario that over the thing. So that in that I end up on the thing or like to go to the extremely good and concern of like the possibility of that gone go be messing up that rock against like racer by doing it all the also like I'm probably going to do steadily falling that feel like in the black pocket exactly like go to taking that road like not that good and that I'm the that feel like falling in like the trade of that that will work and work and also it's not just that we can actually to that transfer so between that final ultimate throw which might be most likely final ultimate throw of that bomb like in next straight away uh, landing on Razor and Razor being unable to like that is now terrible and that way that gone defeating Razor like the Tsunami that I'm I watched it and I'm totally at that point due to that one of the three like those two right to stay right to like about the to like don't that game up right to like the intensity of that final throw of that ball. And basically still that ball being up to this to just kind of the team and everything and like and out of that absolutely celebrating and they believe that getting that silver of the star. At that point, I'm looking for like a racer to not realize that the realize involvement atonement and in that final problem or involvement in that final problem. And basically that way we have to differentiate the like strictly certainly not brand. We have different actually the matter that like racer like Mark might have seen that he was approximately seeing thing as like ultimate rival that he has to like suffer. And basically like racer like the past might have attempted and that's really and then big fail that somebody doing might have even take took on in that is like not a benefit about where might have been working out so like that way thing and that one defeating racer like that situation like that in like racer being feeling failure to the extreme and I'm probably like gone and doing that period. And I'm probably like like gone and team only getting to go crowd like a thing very very so that constantly making a some sort of telling them that is he that is like job is done here that like to is like moving like scenario that sort of man. That name is making so that it is going because like and going on to like scenario that and the player is that way usually that going to do and to everything continuing like the black silver they are like so the things and at that point it's when I'm from the pocket maybe for that can throw to that finding remember that should now extend of it and they will find that the bad against like so happening at that point of like scenario plan about and that way like on the thing of them not to do and just okay but in that way they like defeating Gensuru and assume that's not therapeutic and that way like I'm defeating insurance in that bond to do and getting all of the part of that against that was not therapeutic. So that at that point is when I'm looking for that finally one they will be sitting up and they have to pay the again. Uh, at that point when I'm looking for that of that from that in that actually pure of that actual celebratory moment like I'm looking for that physical accidentally revealing the total information about that it was a whole of that the whole of that of the like in that so the three over right up and like one and like the factor of like the football for that things like that just not that anything but if you're in that like one to be absolutely extremely short and point and the influencer is pointed in that field and proceed from into defeating us black season defeat raise of parents to be on the line black and bond the stock it will help more than for in different ways at that point when terrible. Like at that point when I gone straight away taking the decision to again be strong like I'm when at that point taking the decision to go back to Razor and go back like to go for start and once again play that on about against that Razor and to win experiments and then to get back that Razor take up. So it's like now that sort of thing and that way once that gone to go out and push a game along with like them finding a new set of like team and basically them as they will be making it towards like a race of location like at that point like them properly finding out like race of fishing. It's like it's not kind of it. So then by the number of different was like for that so that along with like the remaining number of like team of like the a number of different with that up to like on usually about another and without would be getting into the work start and and like because I would be leaving quantity like at that point I'm talking about like people are returning back towards like pain and so that asking rate of it like rate of no like John the cleaner and that rate of revealing that quickly from to like now that I'm going to so like at that point, like I'm about and like about like my straight away and like the straight away get exact the remaining kind of block members and basically reading the whole thing from that race so it's like it might be the case for name of them. So like that way while God while the team of that gone is okay and Kidwat will be about to battling against like Gensuru like at that point I was trying for like being for like the and the remaining of that and remember without so on and like raising big and I'm totally fine at that point for like Koga and like the name and remember that being a whole team of that necessary required uh uh members to that play like the round board game against that race one begin and basically them Koga and the biggest strategy of like basically playing the those board games against that race like the condition that where like the race was steep that people would have to like listen to the program to get along the line sometimes bring that to the program, making that condition to raise up. But like at that point, like and by then I'm talking about like raise up to have the to like motivate to like play like to be playing the lot of games, just to practicing the games like on like not better. So that Liam will bring at that point definitely the program most likely maybe the program like final program is like revealing to that raise up about like the need for like a reason to like join and power and like about like role of like about the free like getting to that reason. So like at that point it's of the when they reach that properly realize that it is the merchant that comes from the final race of properly realizing that like so role is razors that might be that razors like long front and then still remember in that like the front of that role of it like role of it is we have lost in the past that uh might have survived without like role of realization and basically he might have lost all of his like memories and this place that might be how that he might have ended up that might have ended up joining team and being part of that degree and zone and everything. He might have been able to happen certainly was friends and being able to pull that belief that way like I'm to bring that fear and trying to work for all of on the way to think for that. Given the name for one of the maybe going back at the memory of that place of the step one for that more like one like so and also with the feeling like journey for like for that rate like join for that rating might like at that point that rate deciding that degree and with the like only planning on just getting out and actually like that so they want to like raise that will be meeting so like at that point that raise of something they realize that for example like follow change and follow space like and like space remembering to that old fundamental and that being not terrible and so that way like I'm like arrange of that join that within that the grid idea and basically with like grid application more and basically personally and basically joining as part of that kind of group and basically that way that we raise up like I'm so different pro like finding out about that Africa and how Africa like can't see that for and so like that way like I'm trying to like to get to settle phase for with that one through a battle black and fortifying. At that point, that Razor comes to set the distance black needs to, even though face of loss in like the world that still prove that is black Razor definitely would be getting reflected and getting that strong to be kind of length and Razor takes the distance while roll out to be getting black and the final would be getting the other video second of if they down the line black Razor by that point to be of second mind then like Razor that way then you have join like the final move as the finish the final and that comes like that up the complex of that so is like a feeling scenario that I'm looking at okay and that like when I'm looking at the for like the solo and so that is happening with lack and so like so solo completing so up to that so that's great so just like the start that I'm looking at yeah and definitely I'm looking that at that point like the final goal then like maybe that point like turning against like the and feeling for to bring down to the dog that that I'm looking but like I'm going to find that for being repetitive of that to the help that playing of the mechanism look out for the player for the comparison by then in that different areas of getting razor to like follow and like having getting again possible for like follow to like gain that like and also definitely I'm trying like follow being so repetitive of that and like throw it down with like the handling look at like scenario which like the scenario that I was in the reality. Okay, so that means that was in the reimbursement right now. That one current plan might be to that an attempt to extract reason by most likely making Kilua, turning Kilua into a base and basically making Kilua stand in that very front of like one side and basically and producing like Kilua's configuration of like Kilua can be in like a one on stage like then is like either state like definitely gone on probably my doubt that they don't below and to talk about definitely soon the next row that razor like razor might be definitely targeting Kilua since like to take advantage of like Kilua's like current hand situation to get up the next like one might out of Kilua and is over the million of the remedy. So definitely exactly why and so that like through it that that way by bringing down Kilua like won't be able to quickly with that gone how much land was dependent on the virtue that takes argument from that the lead raise of the chance of land raise of getting Silva is the highest to be around the lens like on my out of Silva because of the Lima trend. So while raise up and by keeping Silva like the front lag actually the lag junk once like a raise of lag so would be that like Silva would be getting close towards like Silva lag at that point like tender time for like the zone to maintain to give that sharp focus on that Silva in like the figure which is carrying so that like basically not like the font from like the top from that phase will be about to almost reach like figure at that very last second form like so to step into this like bungee jump move and like reflect like the ball with a huge mass of that sort of bungee jump covering like tender jump like the board and precisely directing like the board at that point reflecting and directing like the ball exactly towards them when you are like going to be absolutely prepared and ready to like catch and hold on to it, like the hold on to the ball and you look like the when you going covering like the ball bouncing off of the ball the possibility of that would be greatly reduced. Which might see maybe along the lines of that point that current plan might be the case the police might have your return right now. It's a like a even really interesting right now, especially for platforms like try of unite strategy that league maybe ending up being successful and not being able to like successfully catch like the board. But all that happening at like the top of that them choosing so that's the clean up for everything. Still so for the scenario to be for like performance like the ball to be so extremely think and strong that even while they will be bonuses of for catching them the ball like and like the force pushing them backward all the way to like the point where like Arizona goes like the farthest and like the back will be ending up crossing like the outer line and basically going out of that the match. Is that the and going on with like finish with that good and that way I'm like being down to just go and fill up you know to like bring down and degree in the reflective that I'm looking at say that the Lima is very important right now for Black Razor to most likely definitely catch, still be able to like catch the ball even if like one get the ball with his like throw power right now like now to make a scenario that and go to brain. So that to be certain as they talk to God, like the scenario that I'm there. Okay, and not only that, but like while God would be taking that pro, which is like pro power, like I was saying, that the power pro power want to be so extremely intense that I'm going to find that so that most likely it was and ending up in that broken like state after long taking those like the scenario that I'm going to find. So that like at that point like that situation everything like briefly everything it was cleared at that point itself and movement cleared at that point then now it's kind of everything and at that point like it was not being able to like reunite in time with that bond and so in between going and the up and then I'm looking for definitely taking advantage of the situation to like have like quickly can reflect the bond this quickly can reflect the throw of that bond about the way to straight away making this move and basically targeting Killua before like Killua be able to like reunite and to that way raise up bringing down Killua that does not that and that way like Killua getting bad injured and basically Killua that being out of like the match like not that of the different. So definitely I'm preferring like Killua being in that absolute sideline state and that I'm the certain like with that as well as like appointment like Killua's like and most likely end up in that next stage that going like oh that collectively I'm probably forming that absolute extreme guilt within bond at that point is like not that like and probably everything gone not that so like definitely have to bring at that point what to be this bond and this okay don't remain again praise of and at that point I'm probably still gone and so still sticking to the unite plan stuff needs unite value stuff needs yet like I'm like while taking the role like like gone still gone still at that even at that point being in that absolute kind of feeling like tonight that I'm coming into the it was like tonight that I'm everything that like born so like I'm totally putting like that kid feeling of the thing like born so born power in like wrong like next throw and that way like I'm doing that next throw that's well affecting in like razor even without like even the first one being able like yeah that's the ball of that from both like it's not a current way to trade ways and practice that up within the city. So that at that point is when I thought the point was finally snapping out of it. But like by then like I'm don't like the ball with you rushing towards like wrong like it's not a terrible thing. So like that's very within that few moments like I'm once again like I'm thing and trying to like that like the ball but like I'm remembering definitely kill you up that happens that definitely usually other things they are doing like right the end of them like that and because as well giving it way more than you know so even uh, the contribution so far in terms of power into that top format until that point, like exam because that's a feeling that's what I think. Yeah, like I'm thinking that I mean that's something but at that point it's not going to something in that bronze is barely managing to that hold the board and stay within that perimeter within the line perimeter without problems and the line out that so alone barely managing to stay within the line while to go out be flying out of like the rock for like the nine area that not that I'm noticing and that so that is out at that end of the not that I'm so like that we are looking for like the dog for match to be some down to just a single wrong and like a single race of alone remaining. And like it's not that I'm looking at. So like at that point is when I'm looking for like wrong looking at like all the team members of that wrong to play like the dog for match along with that wrong like starting from that all of that players like Tina Sugar and everyone to give it their rating and like from looking at each and every single one of them to investigate the program and then finding to do a selection of that and and things like that absolutely sideline to do to get that point like by smiling has gone and like with that absolute from being from that what that they will be able to like still succeed even without that kill and to do and giving such an absolute confidence might attack back at like while going through such absolute pain like not that by hiding that as the thing, the thing, like young to bring like for all of them, like for all of the sacrifice and all of the support that they fits into like the dogs for nice like if they along the lines and they pick for me that one big that like can't afford to that at this point simply look along the lines for the song if you like at that point I'm going to bring that to be most likely the point where like go on faster passing to in terms of that control, power, like not that about and that absolute desire and determination to win the setting in like and so to bring that from like on like sharply fighting and increasing in terms of like power and from bring that absolute limiting like one more breaking some sort of like limitation of barrier at that point. Which might be holding which might be that might have been limiting that even more great potential within one like like that into that was or like sharply changed by even they greater than before and basically at that point like even raise up and so different at that point will be absolutely shocked like that intensity of that one or and I'm going to kind of that absolutely making that one sending out like final pro of the also pro and basically that being so extremely awkward and you're going to contact that pro of one like a perfect and like that damage like the entirely of like the pro for mass area play field area like the scenario element right so like the ground all of it like starting like from like get destroyed as like along the path of like the ball as like uh one will be taking that role like with that whenever like the path of like the ball being sent towards like right of like the ball creating and to this person like finance that I'm referring to definitely at that point like ways of like feeling it is like has to everything to do like trying to like stop that ball but like up to like ways of being sent out of like that sort of not for match and they are building black and so and like raise up out of like the building while holding on to the ball and then that to be the extent of that extreme intensity of that trying to determine about control like long like the narrative that so like that we are going to bring like a raise up to like they survive like the final thought point of one at the cost of that they believe getting sent out of like the building and basically landing on like the ground and still surviving and basically while still remain managing to that barely remain conscious and still managing to like hold on and not let go of like the thoughts for is like till now that to be how that final defeat of that phrase by John and like it's an artist that I'm putting right now in the very right so that's the about very important right now that Suzuka this entire time might have been constantly hiring the lab funding the frequent pricing solely to that to have that bond and to do feel that as the production in section of for barricade like a razor to have like a razor put that absolute pressure on them and basically while doing that absolute pressure like to see how bond and to do would he perform and would he figuring things out might be along the lines to find this out to actually because it was and might be that might have been the center time might have been like the most exciting part that Suzuka might have been looking forward towards since like the beginning of the dot format. It might have been like that to the second of the number. So this might be the reason for that. So that's consciously what we're dealing about the flat BungeeGumRecoil move to that dot and Silva or like if they or like any member of like the team might be definitely consciously especially might be very impression. Definitely I'm just bring that even way beyond that, even Kusoka's expectation like Don and as well as like Silva in through the current Oxford battle against like Racer might have far outshine even way more like way more than even Kusoka's expectation might be like that situation. And actually, in actually, what Kusoka might be feeling is definitely might have drained to like so that person point like without broadband began that comes from at that point like so expectation might have been for like definitely for like the born and kid definitely to know be able to like mature the reason still to solely see how like they will be how much they will be progressing and figuring things out and what all kinds of strategies they would be coming up with might be along the lines like to might have been patiently waiting to see for like Ron and Silva and that Silva might have been back then planning most likely to only bring out this that ultimate move of Texan Beacon Breaker and one flag gone eventually one flag gone as well as Silva will be getting defeated by Razor and if it will be Hisoka alone that will be remaining and that final moment for might have been when like Hisoka might have been planning more than using the flag BungeeGumRecoil from like the very start of like the round for match might have been at that level the case the police might be very I'm still getting my impression as for like the underwater fear like and so like the monsters then might be most likely that then might be such an absolutely mysterious trend which might lead from underwater to all the way to a remote island. Might be that the case. The path within the net might be to a remote island and be literally sending streams that to be onto, and it might be on that remote island that thing might be staying at, might be that actually the airplane like in order for that for and team to be able to that make it towards that thing, they might have to like end up like the sea monster or like the dragon then, and basically that is like the act that the sea monster might not allow them to like pass unless they between like the sea monster might be along the line from that situation there. And like that, so different the sea monster, so different to be like that final ultimate challenge and obstacle for like one team to for they will get like make it to like team. This is like the economic that I'm putting right now. I need the right. So that we are still remember them for like left the underwater sea monsters then like an underwater sea monster actually might exist. It might be an extremely powerful giant sea monster, and like I'm referring on the mount of that sea monster might be the like the pseudo of those number two car might be present. Certainly might be present so that you might have tamed it at the past and might have given that scene of some like the number two box was start and might have told it to that always protect it and guard it. So like the you remember the original right now that like any direct face to face battle that Gensuru might not be all that strong, might not be stronger than one of the or basically or even Cecilia might be even stronger than Gensuru when it comes to that face-to-face battle might be that actually the case of many Gensuru strong point might be that up to that extreme trickery might be like that with the case that we might appear. So like in that time Gensuru might be the most likely one like Bond and Kilwan was like creating that their whole team to like take on Raver like that. In that time that Gensuru might have been simply spying on them, might have been like that to the case of Lemon Friend because that Gensuru himself might be absolutely made certain that like we with like this power levels like we definitely won't be able to like defeat raise up might be along the line Gensuru might have been absolutely certain or might have been like that to the case especially might be like that might be the case of Lemon Friend. So like Gensuru might have been just in that time might have been basically waiting for like Ron and team to take on raise up and basically for them to like get their hands on like the silver one star. Until that point, like Gensuru might have been patiently definitely spying on them, might have been patiently waiting. Definitely my friend for Gensuru to actually make this move once like the silver one start within like gone and gone that option. For like only at that point for like Gensuru to like make his move. Then that time Gensuru might have been basically just stopping and like patiently waiting might have been like that to different places and leave my person very right right now. Yes, sir. So the first skill that I'm making is for like this get that precious blue planet. I definitely a jewel and like it might be like the thing that sea monsters and like sea monster might be guarding that blue planet right up by already keeping in its mouth might be identity things that other would be that in like that kind of thing in really want Silva and to get in the game, but there are also effort like military as part of that team managing the legate like the sea monster and at that point I'm looking for electricity at finding getting a hands on like the low planet data. It was like right now not different for like the low planet data to most likely maybe not be part of like the designated task might be like the case so then we might be very temperature. So that even after like from 19 would be probably the way to do like the data get solution. And that way like at that point like when like them obtaining that all like the cards of like but even at that point, like the game won't be getting purchase flow plan data and expecting then I'm looking at it. Okay, so that is my really interesting right now. That is my job maybe for like the to like fitness that the throw in like strength and skills of that Ron and Kilua about which like to witness it like so I'm very excited about for that as well as like to see like raise up is like future user or not. Might have been these two reasons might have been like sold factor or like reason for lack of deciding to that might be like for reason for like joining for and to the team to play like and playing like the not board man against like Razer might have been like that towards the case might be very ambition right now. So like that we have bring like soon after like exceeding price of like up like gone and into a like try to say like to leave which of my down quickly and steadily so come at my down quickly oriented back to like resource state and my down confirm with like race of it like race of has like turn it power of down my down like that with the one way master and so like to come my down done that and then stop creating in something might have been one and I'm saying so like we have to so that way my delivery right now that is the result might not be at all like having John and Paul might be that plan to get the deal but we not the ambition right now so that the answer in the world of luxury island there might be naturally maybe two John and users might be like that with the case that we can so that one might be cancelled and like the other might be in the delivery something the name was spring at proper like so I might have that lead front top to get like the remaining fandom pro members and like quickly make it towards like Gensuru before born and team would be making it towards like Gensuru might be along the lines I'm talking about like so I might be well aware and like gone and seeing like their next target would definitely be to defeat the next one definitely might be definitely to like the good Gensuru and like the same for the cards of Gensuru might be along the line like so I might be well and fully aware of because like so I might have been topic like for and day for a long time by now might be like the days that we don't think it. So definitely before that one and team makes it towards like a sort of current plan might be to that even before that for like if like we get the remaining kind of members and like we find Gensuru and definitely to confirm if like Gensuru has selected on the spot or not and like definitely with like if necessary like the committee definitely determine to like use for to like get that total information out of the Gensuru especially before like going to make it towards like and so might be along the line of like the plan of the physical community that today is being mentioned. So that family is trying with like can so come to right now come to like quarantine like and also I think that the scenario that I'm looking is for like once like the battle between I'm talking about the already like all like the battle between like Gensuru and team versus like quarantine happening or created and also in things so like I'm talking by the time Hisoka would be reuniting with like the leading up with like the engineering plan and that would be mainly towards like in that way like complex Hisoka telling the remaining kind of members for them to like not interfere right now and basically that way like I'm different like they're patiently stopping like the entire battle and I'm processing one and team that's running their way into the team of the Gensuru and taking away or the part of like into like scenario that I'm going to like Gensuru and the thing is also similarly with that would be still surviving like and thing and after like at that point after like one and team would be like Gensuru like at that point of when I'm looking for like after they will be leaving is when I'm looking for like to Doka and like to remain back to be to them towards like the repeated and public like that Gensuru so like at that point I'm not looking for like Gensuru to be in such an extremely bad in the state that like Gensuru on the training like leading to like Doka and leading to like now that I'm recording so at that point I'm going to putting Doka making the condition that like to do so if like Gensuru that and the system to put in that gets through that Fiona powers on now like it's not going to so like at that point I'm going to bring that Gensuru taking that up to the relation that like Gensuru can use like Fiona powers like the scenario that I'm going to so even at that point I'm going to bring like the and team to be figured out to like get full like lines to that to like get them to like feel get through to like still some of the them feeling Gensuru and definitely at that point, I'm totally putting like at that point itself after like feeling again through like and sort of like it not straight away telling get through to like and even before that I'm totally integrating again through that if we can go to like lying then about like first thing you about then even after feeling again through again will be having that is the confidence to get along the line I'm totally not like so that so like if we are feeling it through like I'm like can go actually displaying like John and Paul in front of Arizona and like understandable. That way, like I'm motivating like the fandom group along like Arizona. Most likely at that point, exiting the career I think in with land Gensuru this land in our that I'm looking at taking Gensuru towards Black Floor and right now the things work to be more effective Gensuru that Black Floor will be finally getting that land network like now and at that point I'm looking more of research might be reading that I'm looking that really lot of adding making Gensuru like absolute concrete and basically seeing Gensuru as like absolute concrete and black Gensuru that basically becoming like the new member of like the kind of that one is like students in our that I'm looking and making again and that way like I'm focusing at that point Gensuru to be absolutely different and really hopeful that basically with like the or strength of like kind of through like Gensuru might be the clear to like get your chapter against black and go on and think probably be together and trying to get to this plan within the period again to be along the lines of that the goal that can grow at that point might be and the it's enough that I'm working on again.